Fettehman Senior High School. It's in the central region, and there are challenges with infrastructure there at the school, and you know it's posing a difficulty for the students there as well as the teachers. They're complaining about the lack of accommodation and so on and so forth, and how it's affecting teaching and learning. We have a report for you. Let's take a look at this. We'll come back and then we'll ask some questions and delve into conversations.
This is the Fettehman Senior High School in Gomwafete in the Central Region. It was built as a community-day senior high school in February 2013 by the United Nations High Commission for Refugees as a way of showing appreciation to the chiefs and people of Gomwafete for releasing a piece of land for the settlement of refugees from Liberia at the Budumburam camp. It currently has a population of over 1,500, but the huge population of the school does not correlate with the infrastructure of the school, putting a lot of burden on teaching staff and administration. According to the headmistress of the school, Madam Stella Mautokwame, the accommodation situation is getting worse as teachers trek miles to get to school, sometimes delaying the start of academic work. Home economic students of the school are forced to do cooking practice under trees, where they sometimes struggle to deal with the wind, while science students study and do practicals in a makeshift structure. Occasionally, when there is an external activity such as external examination in the only auditorium in the school, children are forced to sit under trees and even use the same venue as a dining hall. Here is the headmaster of the school, Stella Mautokwame, speaking to Citi News about their challenges.
Lack of accommodation for staffs. Even me as the head, I am in a rented premises in town, which is far off from the school. This hampers supervision in the school. We have only limited number of teachers staying on campus, patching and give their best to the school. It's affecting teaching and learning a lot. As we all know, with the intervention that the government has planted, where we can have early morning classes and then late evening classes for children. Those who manage to come do that under stress because the location of the school from town, where they all stay, is a bit far, and in and out 20 cities. So if a teacher is confronted with financial problems, he can't come. You can just imagine the youth left on their own or under a little supervision. 1,100 boarders, where we have only about 7 teachers on campus. See, we have only one hall, one auditorium that says all social gathering celebration. If we are writing in that hall, it means dining hall and all other social gathering takes place under the tree over here. Just imagine in the rainy season when children are seated here eating and it's raining. I think you know what it means. Arranging and rearranging the hall to suit a particular program also affects the furniture we have. So they will supply us with furniture, and within the shortest time, about 2/3 are broken down. And just imagine science studied under improvised condition. Home economics done under tree. At times they put on their fire to cook, and the wind blows it off. So just imagine these people having practicals, and the fire keep on going off. So our appeal that such essential laboratories should be built for us.
Board chairman of the school, Elvis Joe Annan, who was speaking at the launch of the 10th anniversary celebration of the school, says they are planning to raise funds to build accommodation for the headmistress and his assistants who are also not on campus, adding that issues of limited classrooms for students cannot be left out of the equation.
As a boarding school, you need to have at least the headmistress, the senior housemaster and the senior headmistress to be on campus to take care of these children. But this one is lacking. The main focus of the anniversary is that we should be able to raise funds to build at least a bungalow for the headmistress to stay on campus, to make sure that she sees whatever happens, so that if there's anything, at least we can ask her. But if you don't have teachers or the leaders stay in the school throughout to make sure that they see what the children are doing, then it becomes a challenge for the children. So if you are not careful, you see that children may be what? Limited classroom is an issue. What it means is that we are going to have our crowded classrooms. And when the classroom is crowded, definitely it is going to affect the children. Therefore, we are appealing to government and the NGOs who can support us to come and help make sure that we provide enough adequate classrooms for the children.
The District Director of Education, Francisca de Graaf Johnson, shares with Citi News efforts they have made in ensuring that the infrastructure deficit is reduced, but has not yielded any results.
If the head mistress is on campus, the senior house master and the senior house mistresses are accommodated here. It will ease their supervision work and then monitoring as well. We have written to NGOs, the district assembly, and all other stakeholders to help us to solve the accommodation problem in the school, because we know government is doing its best but cannot do all.
Despite the infrastructure deficit, students of the school excel at all levels of education ladder, although many are admitted with relatively poor results.
Indeed, the school has chalked a success or a lot of achievement in spite of scarce resources. And we so kudos to the head, the teaching and the non-teaching staff for their miraculous work for bringing the school this far. We also pray that as we launch to the anniversary today, we also pray that all well-meaning Ghanaians and all stakeholders to come on board, and so that we make the 10th anniversary celebration of the school a mega one.
All right, so that's a report that was brought to us by our colleague, Calvis Tete. And the headmistress for Fettehman SHS, Madam Stella Motokwame, has joined us on the line. Madam, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you.
All right, so how long have you been headmistress of this school?
5 years.
For 5 years, okay.
Yes,
and in your experience as headmistress of the school, what, apart from the fact that you don't have accommodation on the campus, what are some of the general challenges that you've experienced throughout your period?
Thank you. To begin with, because we are a new school, the challenges are very numerous. We have challenges of accommodation, especially accommodation for staff, and then to meet other academic work. We don't have accommodation for any staff on campus. We have just improvised some of this accommodation to enhance supervision.
When you say improvise, what do you mean?
Okay, looking at bungalows and other staff building, the type of building or housing provided for staff.
Yes.
Yeah, ours is not up to that standard.
Okay.
But because of the lack of the job, we as teachers taking care of the children here have just accepted anything as housing to keep the work going.
So they have. So can we assume that they have 4 walls with a roof over their head, but the building is not really fit for purpose?
Yes, they have that.
Okay.
They have that.
Okay.
For example, my assistant now is staying in a converted storeroom.
Okay.
A storeroom that had been converted into a house.
Wow.
provide accommodation.
Yeah.
In fact, this project was this building, the school started with the UN, and it came with a very large building.
Yes.
Containing the classrooms, the dormitories, and all facilities. That was how it started with, and that was what I came to me.
Okay.
Fortunately, the government has given us a 12-unit classroom to solve the classroom problem. But with the housing problems, we have not had any yet.
Okay.
That is why our celebration is appealing to all the surgery to give us or to help us with this accommodation so that supervision can be seen here.
So how many students do you have on campus?
Totally, we are 1,500.
Okay.
But
And
boarders are 1,100.
okay, so 1,100 boarders, and then the other 400 are day students.
Yes, please.
Okay. And do you have enough classrooms for all of these?
For now, yes, classrooms, we don't have problem as at now.
Okay.
But
It's the accommodation for the staff. That's really the challenge.
accommodation for the staff and other facilities like library.
Okay.
We don't have a library. We don't have laboratories for science. Though we have some, but not up to standard.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
ICT.
You don't have
Labs.
ICT labs?
We have ICT. All these things. Because we are new schools, we just improvise, just to get a place and then get the work going.
Okay. And so your most pressing need right now, if you were to list them, let's say 1, 2, 3, with number 1 be the most pressing need, what would it be? Give us the top 3.
Number 1, accommodation for staff
Okay.
will be my first priority. As I said in the last interview during the launch of our 10th anniversary, even me, the headmistress, I don't have accommodation on campus. And it goes to a long extent to affect the school.
Yeah.
But your presence on campus alone is still some sort of discipline in the children. So if we have enough accommodation and we have enough teachers on campus, I think Fettehman will be a very great school to be in the future, the near future. The second one is dining hall.
Okay.
Dining hall. Dining hall because we have one auditorium that serves for all these social gatherings, church service, entertainment, assembly, dining hall, everything. And as they keep on moving the furniture up and down, arranging them to suit the program that is to be held, is that they break them a lot. They break them a lot. Secondly, when there is a formal program, then it means dining is being taken under the tree, as I illustrated the other time.
Yeah.
And during the rainy season like this, it's very disturbing seeing our students under the tree, whilst maybe another program is going on in the auditorium.
Okay. So what would be your third challenge?
My main challenge.
No, the third challenge. You mentioned accommodation for staff, the dining
That is the first
area.
one.
Yeah, dining area for.
Then the dining hall will be the second.
Yeah.
The next one will be laboratories.
Laboratories. Okay.
Science lab, home economics lab, among others.
Okay.
Then the library. The library too, At the moment, we have a small room which takes about just 20 students at a time.
All right.
Right.
No, we are.
Please go on.
It takes about 20 students at a time.
Okay.
And looking at our our enrollment, 20 students in a library at a time is nothing to write home about. So if we should get all these things, I think our school would be a great school.
Right, Madam, how old is the school?
The school is 10 years old.
Okay. And in terms of infrastructure, how has it been over the years? What did you come to meet, or this is all you've had since the establishment?
Thank you. As I earlier on stated, the building presented to us by the UN was the major building I came to meet. And then the government gave us a 12-unit classroom.
Okay.
Added to that.
So that is all.
And we also had a social responsibility from the transport ministry. They gave us 200-bed capacity dormitory.
Okay.
And then we also had, we have a boys' dormitory, which was started by the PTA and the chiefs and elders of the town. In fact, the chiefs and elders of this town have been very, very, very supportive. Then later on, the district assembly took it over to roof it for us.
Okay.
The PA has also given us a 6th classroom unit, which is still under construction.
Right.
You see, all that I've mentioned is without accommodation for staff.
Okay. Now, when you were speaking earlier, you also mentioned the fact that when it comes to home economics practicals, you know, fire can spread somewhere. Can you clarify that properly?
Okay. Thank you. Because we do not have a laboratory for home economics, at times the teachers are compelled to take some of the lessons under the tree. And you know, it's an open space. We are nearer to the beach. The wind is too free here, so it keeps on blowing the fire off at the okay.
So in this regard, what kind of fire do they use for their practicals?
Okay, they use gas cookers, they use coal pots. So with the gas cookers, the fire keep on blowing off, and then they will keep on lighting. But that one, with the 6th classroom block, we ensure that mostly they have the practicals in one of the classrooms, which is trying to solve that problem.
Now, I want to believe that as the headmistress of the school, you've taken steps, you know, to find help for your school. In trying to do this, I don't know if you can tell us what your engagement with the District Education Directorate has been and what their response has been regarding finding solutions to all the concerns you've raised.
Thank you. We have put in a lot of requests to solve some of these problems. And the GES, or the Education Directorate, came in by providing the 12-unit classroom for us. We are still pushing, and I know at the right time they will come in and give us the others. But looking at it now, and as we are also 10 years in the system, we are just using this forum to appeal to all who can to come to our aid to solve the problem. The government is doing its part, government has played a lot of steps. The government has taken a lot of steps to solve some problems, but we are a new school, and the way the school is growing very fast, we need more hands. Oliver Twist will always ask for more to solve some of these problems. So to citizens of Ghana, to natives of Fettehland. In fact, it came to a time we were having a meeting, and then a native in Fetteh mentioned that even I didn't know there is a school in Fetteh like this. You see? And these are some of the people out there, they have it, they can help, but because they were not in the know, they can't. So we are showcasing ourselves so that all and sundry can come and help us to solve this problem.
Right. Thank you very much, madam.
All right. So, I mean, it's a story where I think that it's one of those situations where people that ideally hail from the area, who have done well in life and so on, maybe can bring themselves together, and that's just one arm of it. Then we also ask ourselves, well, there's a district, education. Office that's responsible for the schools within the area, and so again, the government is trying to spread, its wings and cover everybody and touch everywhere.
Just like the Adenta story, if the directorates are there, if the institutions are there, but they are not resource to do anything, you go there with your issues and all, but really all they can do is to listen and then give you some words of inspiration and hope.
Motivation.
They will motivate you that go back to work, because really and practically nothing really is going to happen.
So that's why I began it by saying that people who come from there, well, we've been joined also by the board chairman of the school, Mr. Elvis Joannan. Mr. Joannan, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you.
Now, we've had a long conversation with the headmistress of the school. She's enumerated several challenges that you're having and everything else. Let's talk about efforts to raise funding for the school. Is there anything that the board itself has done that you can share with us?
Thank you so much. And first, let me say good morning to all your viewers and listeners. And I want to thank you for this opportunity to give into the school to also let well-meaning Ghanaians to come and help the school. Yes, the board met to decide what to do on the 10th anniversary of the school. Looking at the rate at which the school is growing, we realized that one of the critical challenges facing the school is the headmistress not living in the school or on campus. So our target is to raise funds to build a decent accommodation in the school for the headmistress as a CEO, to make sure that she sees whatever happens in the school. So, in fact, as a sign of to let people know that we are about to do something, on that day during our board meeting, we even did collection of raise funds, small, as a seed. Then during the launch of the 10th anniversary on Wednesday, we raised funds also. And since then, we've been talking to our friends who can help us, our family members, to come and help us do that. And God willing, the next few weeks, whatever amount we raise, we are going to start the project. So if you ask me what we are doing to address the challenge, I can assure you that 29 July, if you come to the school, you will see that indeed, whatever we said to do, that we are going to build a decent place for the headmistress. We started something.
All right. So, well, I think that we can only wish you well and hope that your efforts to raising funds and supporting the school to make sure that it becomes what it is that the dream is for it to become will become a reality in the very near future. Thank you very much for speaking to us this morning.
Welcome. Thank you, sir.
All right. So we're speaking with the board chair of Fettehman SHS, Mr. Elvis Joe Annan. Yeah. Well, at least it looks like on the board side they are making some efforts to try and to help themselves.
Yeah. And for me, with everything that we've heard, what I really worry about is the fact that we don't have the headmistress, the senior.
That's the biggest issue.
House
I think
mistress
for me.
or housemaster, the assistant head, all on campus, and with this being a boarding house, so throughout the night there's no proper supervision.
The core leadership
going on,
of the school.
So if something happens, if there's a disaster, if there's, something that really requires the prompt attention of any of these persons, what really happens? These are young people. They will panic. It will aggravate into something else. And with supervision is very key. So with the science labs, the home economics labs, and all that, very present. But I think that the most important thing that needs to be addressed now is
headmistress
accommodation
and her team
on campus for the leadership of the managers of the school. It's very, very key. Because we can't just leave the children on their own.
Yeah, you have a boarding facility, people are not there.
Because even with the presence of the headmistresses and all that, young people are trying to find ways and means, to do their own thing. So imagine how they would accept it if they know, and how they will behave when they know that the headmistress will close, let's say, around 5 or by 7. They're not on campus.
Wow. Yeah, and I think it must be if I'm a parent to a child that's in this school, I'll be very, very concerned.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very concerned as to what could be happening.
I do know
to
that the night
children.
is very long. So
look,
let's say from like 8 p.m. or let's say 9 p.m. to like 6 a.m. we're on our own. Anyway, we've been joined by the District Director of Education, Gomwa East, Madam Francisca de Graaf Johnson. Thank you very much, Madam, for your time. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you, and good morning to everyone.
Right. Now, you were at the Fettehman Senior High School during the launch of the 10th anniversary, right?
Yes, madam.
And with all the concerns that were raised, as the district director, how do you receive this? How are you helping to solve some of their concerns?
Okay, thank you. As a directorate, the well-being and the welfare of the students and the teachers are our responsibility. So we are trying all that we could to help. We have written letters to get funds and to all other agencies that could help us reduce the stress issue of accommodation in the school. As you know, the school is a young school, 10 years. All students are not even grounded yet to help as they could. So we are appealing to all well-meaning Ghanaians, NGOs, the community, the chiefs, and then the natives of the area affected, both home and abroad, to help so that we all together will help the school to grow their infrastructure to the benefit of the students and the teachers as well.
Now, in terms of writing to the Get Fund and all, do you have any timelines? What was their response to you?
We are waiting for their response. We are waiting.
When did you write to them, by the way?
You said when?
Yes.
We have been writing.
When was the last time you wrote to them?
I can't remember the last time we wrote to them because the issue is ongoing. It's always all the time. So we've been writing to them.
So
not only in the Get Fund, assemblies, and the NGOs and all others that could help us.
And no one has responded yet?
We are waiting for their response. As you know, government is overwhelmed with all these issues. So we are following up, and we are hoping that when the time is due, they will come to our aid.
Madam, just a quick one. You said that you've been writing to them. Just give us a bit of context. So when you say you don't remember, that's fine. Exactly when, that's fine. But would you say it was a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago? Just give us an idea of the last, correspondence with government and the GET Fund.
Yes, that one I can't remember because it is not only Fettehman School that we have been writing.
Okay, it seems rather problematic that you can't even give us some context, as in whether it's a month ago, 6 months ago, and you are the director. How is that the case? I don't understand. Or is somebody else doing the writing on your behalf?
Somebody else is doing what?
I'm asking, is somebody else writing on your behalf? Because if you are writing to them and you say you can't remember the last time, I mean, I don't expect you to remember the specific date, but at least a month ago, or let's say 6 months ago or something, some kind of context to help us to understand, the gravity of the problem. But you are saying you don't remember at all, and you can't even give us a month ago or 6 months ago or something that you wrote to them. That sounds problematic. Hello?
Hello.
Yes. Did you understand what I was saying?
You asked me a question and I have answered you. The school writes through us. We also write through region through. And you asked me and I've told you we've been writing. You asked me to give you specifics. I said, we are not asking you.
No, we are not asking you to give us specifics. We just want, so for instance, if we meet the education minister and we have to have a conversation with him, we want to be able to say that, listen, Madame Francisca, who is the director leading the education directorate in Gomwa East, has been writing, or her outfit has been writing to you. They've written about 4 times to you, the last one being about 6 months ago. We want to be able to have some of these details so we can progress the conversation. That is why we are asking. But if you don't remember any of them, it's okay. Do we conclude like that?
Fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Madam, for your time.
You're welcome.
So that is it.
Yeah.
I mean, it summarizes how we view education in this country. And unfortunately, if you are a native of Fettehman, just go help your people, because the education director doesn't remember the last time they wrote to the government. So, I mean, to a very large extent, there's no help coming in that regard. And she was almost offended with that. And so we just have to leave it here. The long and short of the whole thing is, it is not a priority.
I'm besides myself with surprise, that you don't remember when.
But she said you asked a question, she has remembered, she has
answered.
And the answer is, I don't remember. Okay. So if she doesn't remember, must she die here? Anyway, so, Madam Mauto Kwame, this is your district
the response.
Look,
she said she doesn't remember.
Agenda. She doesn't remember the last time. So
you wrote to them, but they don't remember when they wrote, the last time they wrote to
this is our approach to solving issues in our country.